The chill of the metal seat in the police car clung to my body like frost. Tears ran down my cheeks, mingling with the remnants of disbelief as I struggled to piece together the events that led me here. Everything was hazy. The bottle's warmth had wrapped itself around me moments before, drowning my senses and leaving me adrift in a fog of forgetfulness. Those 2 swigs haunted me, their impact crashing hard against my now conscious mind. I had stood at his door, my heart pounding, yet blissfully unaware of the chaos that awaited. How had I turned from a guest to a burden within those 4 walls? The police officer's arrival had been a blur, her eyes meeting mine momentarily before I turned away, overwhelmed by a sudden gut-wrenching realization. My belongings, my very lifeline, my purse, my phone, my keys, were missing. Panic swept through me as I imagined them in his possession, twisted with confusion at how everything spiraled so drastically in just a few hours. Dropping to my knees in the cold, falling darkness, I cried for help, each sob echoing in the encroaching night. The officer had left without a word, sealing me in a shroud of silence. Did she know what had transpired? I longed for answers, yet the night swallowed them whole, while she disappeared into shadows. Visions of his anger plagued me. His voice screamed at me to leave, filled with a fury that made my heart feel jagged and exposed. It was as if I had betrayed him deeply, the trust shattered into pieces I couldn't understand. A neighbor's gentle touch pulled me away from despair, her compassion forcing a flicker of hope through my frozen limbs. I stumbled inside her home, seeking refuge, trying to reconstruct the timeline of those 5 hours of dread spent outside in the biting cold. As I leaned into her understanding, I struggled to articulate the horror I felt. Memories flooding back. How had I ended up in that state? My attire, a spandex onesie, snug yet wildly inappropriate for the frigid air. Deep down, I knew I had survived. Yet a haunting question remained. How long had I stood outside, vulnerable and exposed, as night encased my world? The weight of it all pressed heavily upon me as I lost myself in thought. In that moment of reflection, sorrow lingered, but yet a spark of resolve ignited within. Methys would not be the end of my story.